Hey guys, Alex from 7th Hour Films back again with Attack on Titan. Last time on Attack on Titan, we had Lost Girls, Sina, Goodbye, Part 1. So yeah, let's see. It was an episode about Annie, actually, where basically Annie, it was the day before the 57th Exterior Scouting Mission, which means it was the day before she had to go do some pretty serious crap. And basically, she was trying to distract herself from the big day, and then she got a job from Hitch, basically, to go find a missing girl named Carly Stratman. And yeah, she started on this investigation, talked to her father, who was a bit sus, found out that she used to drink a lot at this one tavern. Went there, realized there's something to do with illegal drugs, which is interesting. And then she went to the home of Carly's lover, basically, and found him pretty much dead under, looked like he OD'd, basically, under his bed. And that's sort of where we left it. So yeah, very, very interesting stuff. So yeah. In case any of you are wondering, because I know that Season 4 of Attack on Titan is now back. However, the dub, at least at time of recording this, the dub is not out yet. So, again, we are going to be waiting for the dub, because that's how I've been watching Attack on Titan. Couldn't really, help it for the OVAs, but that's okay. But I am going to go ahead and wait for the dub, just because I might as well see it through with the dub, so yeah. And I like the dub anyway, so yeah. When the dub comes out, then we will start back on Season 4, and who knows, honestly, we could honestly be starting those videos when this episode goes out. I don't know. But stay tuned for that. But anyway, we still have a little bit of the OVAs to go through. So, like always, the reaction is down in the description and in the pinned comment for your viewing pleasure. So let's go ahead and jump right into this OVA of Attack on Titan. Here we go. Alrighty. Now something interesting is that, these two episodes, initially I thought it was just Sina, Goodbye, but, they also have a prefix of Lost Girls, which is interesting. I guess that makes sense. Annie, Carly, it fits in thematically. However, on top of that, the next episode, the final OVA, is still titled Lost Girls. So I'll be very curious as to if the next one ties in at all. I don't know, maybe. Because, we had 3 one-off stories. Then we had a Levi two-parter, and now an Annie two-parter. So I'll be curious as to what the final OVA is going to be. So yeah. Okay. Interesting stuff here. Very interesting stuff, concluding the investigation of Carly Stratman. So yeah, very interesting stuff. Definitely, man, Annie cracked that, so much faster than Hank Schrader ever did. That was crazy. Sorry, I got ice in my mouth. I hate getting tiny chunks of ice in my mouth. Alright. Not that it's disgusting, I just don't like it. I don't need ice in my mouth. Anyhow. So yeah, now granted, she didn't quite figure out that Carly was basically the Heisenberg of this operation. But still, very, very interesting stuff. And honestly, it is one of those things I will say that it's Annie almost didn't solve the case, it basically, the solutions basically came to her, because she was poking around and everything. That brought in Wald and Lou and then she basically just completely beat them and found Carly, And then Carly told her what was happening, so that's pretty interesting, I will say. But yeah, so the first thing I wrote down, keep cover. So I didn't even think about that, yeah, with everything with, Kempfer's death and stuff like that, like, if any of this actually was reported, it would become such a bigger case. And Annie doesn't have the time for that, Like, she has the time to find a person, but she doesn't have any time for the rest of it. So she can't let this extend more than a day. So that makes sense. That does make sense. And I like that Wald also figured that out. It's like, you were in there for a pretty long time, and you said you were going to Stratman's, not to headquarters. So there's a reason you can't report this. He didn't know why, but he figured out that Annie can't report this, which is interesting. So yeah, I like that. I definitely like that. So yeah, interesting stuff with Kempfer being basically just a dealer, and Carly being more of the cook. I guess Kempfer being more the Jesse Pinkman to her Heisenberg, I guess. Although Jesse was instrumental in cooking, so maybe more like Kempfer, more Combo, Badger, maybe Skinny Pete. One of the three. Pick your take your pick on which of the three Kempfer could be. Personally, I'm going to go for Combo, actually, because we saw Combo on the streets. Anyway, I'm referencing Breaking Bad, and if you haven't seen Breaking Bad, you're not going to care about this reference, so oh well. But yeah, that was interesting. But then, yeah, like, pretty much everything just sort of fell into Annie's lap, because yeah, there was the whole thing with Wald, excuse me, I have to be sure I say that properly. Wald, going in there and, talking to her because she is starting to get in the way of everything. And then, yeah, I like that conversation. Again, Annie's so fucking smart. The way, just how she's talking to them. And then, eventually tricking them with the ring, I do like that, because all she needs is just a tiny prick, and she can use her powers. So, I really did like that she tricked them into puncturing her with the ring. And then, yeah, just that moment that she just unleashes Lean Jean, even just briefly, just an arm, enough to break the carriage, but still. Like, that is absolutely amazing. And then, yeah, and then also, I mean, the whole thing of, Lou, he shot her and stuff like that. She just gets up anyway. Like, I don't know, like, here's a good question. This kind of reminds me, because we ask on Doctor Who all the time, like, oh, what if this happened to the Doctor? Would they be able to regenerate? So, kind of similar thing here. If Titan Shifter or something? I don't know what the official term is. Or I guess one of the 9, we could say. But if we'll say hybrid, because that's the term we've always kind of gone with. If a hybrid was shot through the brain, would that be an instant death? I'm going to say yes. However, wait a second. No. Not necessarily. Now, if it's a sudden shot, probably yes. However, just from what we learned in Season 3, so spoilers for Season 3, we learned that they can shift where their consciousness is. Because Rhina did that. Rhina did that just before Levi stuck a sword through his throat. And he said, if I hadn't shifted my consciousness down to my body, I would have died right there. So, let's say Annie has a gun up to her. All she has to do is shift her consciousness down her body, and then bang, and she's still alive. But that shot was very sudden, and right through her chest, basically, her beautiful chest. Sorry, I'm gonna start crushing out on Annie in a minute, but give me a sec. But if it was a sudden shot through the head, and she didn't have the moment it takes to transfer the consciousness, then she would be dead. So hey, we already answered that question. Isn't that great? So that's pretty interesting. So I like that. But instead, she was shot through her chest. Luckily, her beautiful chest can heal itself. That's kind of creepy the way I'm saying that. Her beautiful chest. Like, all right, man, get a room. Anyway. Um, but yeah, like, so that was interesting. She gets shot, and then the other guy gets shot. She just stands up. I love that. And yeah, when I was kind of thinking, like, okay, well, shouldn't there be, a giant stain of blood on her white hoodie? But no, because Titan blood, and I didn't realize that this was also the case for hybrids, but it must be that because she is a Titan, that blood evaporates, and so there's nothing. There's still a bullet hole, granted, so she had to switch to a different hoodie. But it is still, the blood is completely gone, and that's a very good detail. Like, something I wouldn't have thought of, but that's definitely it. So interesting stuff. So basically the whole thing is that Stratman. Okay, so Stratman started selling the drugs at Sina outside of the capital. Carly gets pissed and then leaves. Carly gets pissed and leaves. Presumably goes to Kempfer, but eventually Stratman hires Wald to find Carly. They do. They realize she has a secret. Basically, they realize the secret that she is the cook, basically. And then they are going to ransom her, basically, to Stratman instead of revealing her secret. I guess revealing her secret to the MPs. So that was going on. Carly was not really fazed by any of this. But then Annie came in and basically dealt with everything. Got rid of the whole ransom thing. Beat the shit out of all of them, which is interesting. So I guess that's it, basically. It's basically that all of this was going to happen. All Annie... And see, Annie didn't really, solve the case and another one for the MPs or anything like that. It's like, no, she just ended this, basically. She just came in and just ended this. Like, no, there's no ransom. There's no possibility of revealing the secret. None of that. She doesn't care. She just came in and ended this. Carly's on her way. That's it. Why is the dog getting up? I'm going to go see. Alrighty, I'm back. So yeah, it's basically just that Annie ended this whole situation, basically, which is interesting. So, yeah. I find it very interesting that she spared Lou. Because he's the only one, Wald is dead. Which this scene, the whole scene where he's like, oh, Peter, your dad's coming home and stuff like that. I was like, well, that's sad, but at the same time, bro, I don't know you enough. Like, I wasn't really, sad or anything about this. Like, I don't know. I guess he was just a simple man trying to make his way in the world, But Lou's the only one who really knows her secret. Nobody else did, because the other two were dead. So I find it very interesting that she actually did spare him. But I don't know. I guess it would kind of make sense of that might draw unwanted attention. If Carly would have seen it, and that would have been weird. But so she did at least just scare the shit out of him. So there's that. Yeah. But yeah, that's basically the whole thing, is that Carly was a cook, basically. Still probably is a cook. But yeah, and then Annie basically helped them just so that this ends, now. Which is interesting, and I like that, she's just tired. She's tired of all of this, and she just wants it to be over. So she goes in and, helps deal with the body and stuff like that. So that was very, very interesting. Again, it's one of those. It's like it's not really a mystery solved and all that stuff. It's more of a this has to stop now because Annie has shit to do in the morning. So that's all very interesting. I like that. And yeah, she gets a pass for Carly, and then in her report, basically squashes any further investigations, basically, And it's like, all right, that's that, and she is basically done. Now, I did want to kind of look at the whole thing about the water treatment, because that's obviously where they dump the body at the end. So, here it is. Oh, this is going to be hard for me to see. A massive tank that holds liquid contaminants produced by industrial processes. When capacity is exceeded, waste is transferred to a filter tank where it is purified. I mean, a basic water purification description. But yeah, that's definitely where... that's definitely where they dump the body, I think. I think that's the purpose of that. Which, honestly, like, yeah, I didn't even know they had a water purification plant and stuff. I mean, it makes sense, but it's never brought up. And that is one thing I like about these OVAs is I feel like the OVAs really build more of the world of Attack on Titan, which I like. I really do like that. You know, it makes it, well, not a world you want to live in, but a world you could live in if you absolutely had to, but you probably don't want to still. And I do also like, again, even just a minor thing, I love just that moment of Annie eating a donut. And she's just like, I've never had a donut. Like, apparently, because I know, like, I remember in season 3, at the start of the Battle of Shiganshina, there's this whole thing, it's like, oh, this, you know, they had these cups with this strange black liquid in it. And it's like, oh, what the fuck is that? And it's like, well, it's coffee. But they don't have coffee, you know, within the walls. They have tea, but in Marley they have coffee. So I like, though, this distinction that in Marley they don't have donuts, but Parody does. Like that, so a strange back and forth, but it's interesting. So yeah, I do love just some of the world building in the OVAs, you know? So that's really good. Then yeah, so, and throughout this episode we also had the flashbacks to Annie's dad. Now see, I remember that the last one where he's saying, you know, I'm sorry, you know, I'm not asking for forgiveness, I just want you to come home, you know? So it's clear, like, that's basically when she was about to be deployed, that's when it got very real for him. So that was interesting seeing that, and seeing just how he sort of changed like that. You know, once shit got real, it's like, oh shit, my daughter's about to be sent to the Island of Devils, basically, you know? So yeah. So that was very, very interesting. I like that. And yeah, her whole goal is to go home. I don't think it's gonna work. I don't think it's gonna work at all. However, we do know I think in season 4, again, spoilers for season 4, we did meet her father again. He was talking to Rhina's mother. So yeah, he may have, by that point, he may have accepted Annie being dead, but I don't know. And I don't remember if he was killed during Aaron's attack on Marley, so I don't know. You'd have to remind me in the comments, but yeah. But anyway, but that is basically it. A very good OVA 2-parter. Yeah, honestly, these OVAs, man, they're really, really great, you know? Just sort of seeing some of these side stories. It's not necessarily Titans and stuff like that, and seeing, you know, Aaron back in the day in a couple of these episodes was really nice. I know that once we start up season 4 again, it's going to be like, oh, yes, back to super edgelord teenage Aaron, who's so edgy and just is ridiculously overpowered for a character who shouldn't be as smart as they're portraying. I don't want to get into it, but yeah. I'm going to enjoy this time because honestly, yeah, it's like, I don't know if I want to say this, but season 4 may actually be my least favorite season so far. A lot of good shit in season 4, but I don't know. Like, just going through all of that is like, oh, Jesus Christ. You know, this shit got too depressing. Like, there was never like a, yeah, come on, let's at least, you know, fight or something. I don't know. I could go more into it. I won't, because we're talking about OVAs. But eventually we will get back to season 4. Until then, we still have one more OVA, another one of the Lost Girl episodes, which is interesting. So we'll have to see. We will definitely have to see. But yeah, either way, I've really enjoyed these OVAs, and I can't wait to see what we're doing in the last one. So that is basically it. With all that being said, I'm Alex from 7th Hour Films, and I will see you guys next time. Take care. Alright guys, thanks for watching this video. There's a bunch of links on screen if you want to go click around any of those. There's a playlist for all of my Attack on Titan reactions, as well as another video you can go click on if you want. There's also a subscribe button and a Patreon button on screen, as well as other links in the description if you want to go check out any of those. See you guys later.